talk about what that really means, if it's going to stay yellow or not, and how it would stay yellow if we would like it to stay yellow, because I don't think we have a plan for that. And also, how does this fit in particular, Route 47, with IDOT and their plans for that corridor, which the last version that I saw showed a warehouse district from Silver Glen to Plato. I would love it if we could keep that, something like these maps that we're looking at here to 2045. I don't see how we're going to do it, and I'd like to talk in the future about what we think is actually achievable in those yellow spaces.
Janet, where did you see that plan? It was a warehouse? And from
IDOT. This was the one that we got passed along to us by our representatives.
Currently or 20 years ago?
Currently.
Okay.
Yeah, currently. In terms of what the proposed plan was. And so we've got a map, and it shows what their vision was.
And it shows warehouses.
And it shows warehouses from more or less from Silver Glen to Plato Road. So obviously they can't force that on us, but that's their vision, and we don't control all of that corridor.
No.
So.
Anybody else? Yes, go ahead.
California has a target density for future developments of 2.5 to 3.5 homes per acre. And being that we just are going through this conversation with settlements of LaFox, and we've kind of watched all of this progress to get to a point that's ultimately satisfactory under 1 home per acre. Additionally, with us being able to kind of set the vision through 2045 for the density, if private landowners decide to sell their property and they decide to sell it to a developer, we have some level of control right now. And I was trying to wrap my brain around 2.5 to 3.5 homes per acre. Not only do we not have the sewer and the water to supply that, I think on well and septic it's an acre, it might be even an acre and a half now. Is it still?
That's an acre.
It's still an acre? Okay. And I would like to discuss that and talk about reducing that, making that number smaller. And I'm just curious if I could get some feedback while I have you here.
Sure. Do you know exactly where you found it? I'm trying to think where that is.
I don't, I'm actually going through all my notes.
Yeah.
And it was something that they talked about at the hearing. At the hearing, this was one of the topics that they talked about at the hearing also.
Yeah.
The last meeting that they had, well, I guess it wasn't a hearing. It wasn't a hearing.
Right. I'm looking, because I think I know the answer, but I want to be certain before I go into this, where that number is actually coming from, and as to with conservation design, and the way, that's what I think, because, so I think what that's referring to is just kind of there's different ways you can define density. So I'll explain conservation design in very simple terms, not to be condescending or anything, but you have 50 acres, and the developer, the way that this developers only works is they have what they call a yield. That's what they want to achieve for their property, or what they think they can squeeze out of the jurisdiction, what they'll allow. So let's just say that is 50 homes. All right, so it's 1 acre, 1 home per acre, correct? So you have 50 homes spread out over 50 acres. And obviously there's streets and public right-of-way and everything. So just go, try to keep it simple here. So then for conservation design, come back and say, okay, we'll give you your 50 homes, but there's special features here. There's a beautiful stand of oak trees, oak savanna, there's a stream. We want to ensure all that's preserved. So we're going to, we would like to make 25 acres of your 50-acre parcel essentially off limits for building. And somehow that's going to become some type of public open space or protected open space. But you're still going to give them their 50 homes. So now what happens, instead of 1 home per acre, you have, on 25 acres, you have 50 homes. Okay, so I think that's where that number is coming from, because for conservation design, you're clustering where the home building occurs. So if you just count that cluster, then you're going to come up with a number of 3 homes per acre. But if you take the entire development, then you're coming back to something that's probably 1 house per acre or 1 house per 2 acres. All right, I think that's where that's coming from, because I mean, that's essentially what conservation design is. And then you have this open space. Then obviously it becomes a question who's going to maintain, and there's different, that's discussed in the plan, and there's some ways to ensure that it's preserved properly and maintained properly. Okay. You end up with the same number of homes. And that does not resolve the other issues of septic fields and water and everything else, but that's the general concept behind it. Okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Mike, go ahead.
I guess I'm at the point where I'm a parrot because, or I'm a minor bird because I've been here too long. For the umpteenth billionth time, we overload this document with, these are just suggestions, these are, you know, it's the, your mileage may vary and all that other kind of stuff. And for the town center, we've added like 9 times over that, okay? I understand there's some folks that are concerned about it, always have been. What was said back then, and you actually have it, I just found it, it's good for it, you have it on page 97, where you're starting at homes and neighborhoods. Part of the concept for the town center was, where would we be able to meet affordable housing goals if we were forced to meet affordable housing goals? And then more than that, and I didn't see this in here, and forgive me if I haven't gotten to it yet, where would we want a senior facility as part of our town? And we thought that would be the best spot, would be something there. And pre-COVID, pre-Amazon, pre-lots of things, the concept always was, oh, it's going to be a cute little town center like Glenview has or something like that. So that's the schematic that is shown and recreated, which is what it is. And it doesn't mean, to the point that's been made 15 times over, that there's not existing capacity. Doesn't mean somebody can't put it in a biodigester. Doesn't mean that's affordable. Doesn't mean it is affordable. The point, and I think folks get too focused on parts of this into that, is we're not saying this is where this is going, to your point. This is a need we foresee for our community. It'd be great if my mom could live here, instead of all the way up in Algonquin. But there's no facilities that are independent living facilities that my mom could live at. Those generally need lots of water, and they need a decent amount of sewage. So it's going to be tricky in a rural situation for all those things. But lest we lose sight of the overall need that we're talking to, or that we're proposing a potential addressing of, that's what this part of what this could have been. And then in reading through the draft too, I think we are pivoting now, and to let everybody know that's reading this and hearing this, we're pivoting now on protecting this. That, you know, more of our primary goal in what we're looking at comprehensive plan. If you already got a bunch of stuff here that was designed to be mixed use, and it's kind of holding on, but you may need some help in the future. So I like how we've at least put some bullet points in there towards that end. So the concept we were talking about is it's going to lay over for a month, or probably realistically it's August. Nobody's looking at it in August. So I mean, we lay over this and pick it up again in September, the end of September. Does that sound right?
But if you've got comments and want us to give it to everybody, we'll make sure we share it in a way that doesn't violate the Open Meetings Act. That's what I think trying to get at. Share it to myself and James, or to Tracy, so we don't create an open.
All right. I'm going to just read 8 additional items from the president, trustees, or attorney. Okay?
Can I make one more?
Sure, go
Are we
ahead.
going to a different agenda item?
No,
Oh, okay.
that's true. We have no need for closed session, so.
Because I think, just to clarify, I think, and my mistake here, because I'm not certain of procedures, talking to Tracy, my suggestion is this be, I think it's a motion, it's an action item tonight, is that true?
No, we
No.
moved it to discussion.
Okay, good, so we don't have to make a motion.
Exactly.
All right, got it.
Mhm.
I do have one thing before we leave. I'd like to set with Carmen annexation public hearing for August the 4th, if that is a Monday, that we can, that's the soonest we could safely notice it with the paper and the requirements. And I think we've satisfied some of the outstanding issues with the school district, so I think we're safe to go forward on August 4th for the first, to have the public hearing on annexation for the 900-unit development.
So we've got the location then.
Well, we don't have to have the location tonight. We're going to have it by the time we publish.
Mhm.
Because it'll either be at the church on 38 and LaFox Road, or at our standard school at Belgrade. One of the two will be open that night, if you can do a Monday night, because the 5th of August is National Night Out.
Mhm. Janet?
I have a question is about whether we can come up with a way for board members to meet possibly 2 at a time, if they wanted to, with Attorney Forte, about the annexation agreement, if there were any questions, any concerns, because these things are not necessarily things that we want to talk about in open session, are not necessarily appropriate. And, so I wondered whether we might be able to come up with some way, prior to the 4th, without having to make individual arrangements.
Well, we've done 2 at a time, 1 at a time,
Mhm.
with just myself. We can include
Right,
Carmen.
but
do it
specifically
again.
with Attorney Forte, in case there were.
Well, there's a lot of legal questions, yeah.
Right. I mean, there are in other documents too, but we have an opportunity to talk about them during our open session.
I see no problem with doing that. It's legal.
Yeah, I'm absolutely available for anyone that wants to meet and discuss. The difficulty with setting a hearing date is the mailing and publication deadline. So, for instance, the August 4th, if it were to be August 4th, I would need to notify the Daily Herald in the next day or so to confirm publication by the end of this week. That would run on Monday. If there's a desire to have individual meetings, then we really need to look at the date of the hearing. And I absolutely welcome meetings. I think it's important that we discuss these items. I just want to caution, setting a hearing date and having me confirm it is a very expensive publication cost, thousands of dollars.
Is it possible, though, that we can have the hearing and we can bring up questions or concerns, still have the hearing, and yet, as having brought up those questions and concerns, have the document continue to evolve?
Right. It absolutely does not even have to be up for approval that night. It often does change after public input and discussion. The one caveat with that is that if we have continued discussion, let's say it's set for X date, and between now and then, we have continued discussions either as the board or with third parties, and then that the draft language changes to the agreement, that agreement has to be on file with Village Hall for 15 days prior to the hearing. So a concern of mine is that, we have a hearing, the date is set, 15 days prior, the agreement sitting at the front desk, and then a desire to make some changes occurs. I wouldn't want to have a new version of the agreement be reviewed that night, because somebody could have come in on day one and said, well, this version is different than what you're looking at.
So that's frozen for that 15 days?
It should be. It really should be.
But it opens up again.
It does after the hearing, right, and that gives the public the opportunity to have it available for that 15 days. It would just be like someone amending a zoning application within that 15-day period. Now, they could bring that up at the hearing and say, oh, we'd like to make this change, or remove something, let's say, but they can't change wholly what they're asking for. So, thank you for the public's opportunity. So that's my only caution just for setting the date. I'm very conservative on hearing dates just because of that. We've done a lot of work to work with a lot of parties, and there's still going to be work to do. So whatever date you're comfortable with.
But if you've got some, anyone who's got a, I won't vote for this because I need to change paragraph 5B, line 3 or something, please set a time to meet tomorrow to get Carmen and you together so we can discuss that language if you need it. But you always have the opportunity at the public hearing to make something from the public or from yourselves to direct the document to be modified before you pass it.
And generally, every Monday morning, I've been meeting with Mark and a representative of the developer, sometimes also with third-party district representatives too. So taxing districts. So we meet Monday morning. So if people want to come maybe later in the morning, once that meeting concludes, I'm always here. Typically.
Okay, yeah, I think Frank will get next and then Tracy.
So with all that said, I know we pushed out the reappointment, and I think the agreement's up with the attorney, right? So,
Correct.
Maybe before we rely on him to give us advice, we should renew him.
And that was my other thing. We do have a meeting to maybe have another special meeting the 22nd or the 29th, just to finish some unfinished business. Not just that document, but some other items. So I was going to also ask if the 22nd or 29th to give up your summer vacation of 2 meetings a month, which one would get a quorum, the 22nd or the 29th?
You told us to hold the 29th anyway.
Right.
Let's do the 29th.
29th is fine for a special, and all right, and we'll do August 4th unless something comes up in the next 3 days that is make us move it back for a later date. Patrice was the next thing.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So just to be clear then, the draft that we would have to put up for 15 days would be due on the 21st?
So it,
Or 20,
let's see here.
that's 14 days, I think.
Publicly available.
It should be, it's really like 1, 2, 14, 15, it should be placed at Village Hall, Friday. I mean,
This Friday?
it should be. That's the difficult thing with these publication and notice periods. Is that
Okay.
it seems like it's a far way out, but, that these things have to be put in place well in advance of hearing.
Okay, so knowing that you and I are going to be meeting and having some discussions, does that give us
Right.
enough time to make any changes or
I'll be frank with you, no.
Yeah,
It
okay.
doesn't, because that version of the agreement will have to be posted.
Okay,
Any
so as long as
changes?
everyone, you're okay with that? Okay.
Well, do you want us to not do August 4th then and do the
You know-
Tuesday, the 12th? Yeah.
Just practically, it gives us a little bit more time to actually, have, one of my concerns.
To be
is-
safer,
Yeah. is
going
that not
once,
prejudice.
August 12th, you're pushing for August 12th, we got a second, anybody object to August 12th?
We said that's the first day of school.
That won't hurt us if the church can't give it to us,
That's
Graham
right.
won't give us the
What
first
will
day
be
of
the
school.
location?
Could we do the 11th or the 13th?
Well,
Maybe the 11th.
Can we go Monday the 11th? Because then I still could get the school, the church back up.
Hang on, I was looking at the wrong portion of my calendar. Wednesday, the 13th is the first day of school.
Well,
However, the 12th is the day before.
so let's think August 11th.
And I'm just anticipating that would be.
That gives everybody enough time to
Rushing
voice
out
their
so
concern.
much, and, okay, I think that's better. Appreciate that. All right.
Because plus, if you have a major change, I've got to send it out line to see everybody, so then I can get your input and make sure that it's not one trustee wants purple to be inserted and nobody else does,
Right.
you know. Okay, August 11th, Carmen, and we are meeting the 29th, Chief. Since you've never missed a meeting.
You don't have special.
You can always send somebody, though.
You got a DC.
All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Made by Chief, second. Who's second? Frank. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No,